Hello everyone, and welcome to my Royal Family official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a historically significant ceremony today, King Charles was given the Scottish royal jewels before he and Queen Camilla joined the Prince and Princess of Wales to see a red arrows fly past. 8 weeks after being crowned in Westminster Abbey, the monarch was presented with the crown of Scotland, the sceptre, and the sword of state of the honours of Scotland at St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. At the chapel on the Royal Mile, 100 people from all spheres of society joined William and Catherine, known as the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay north of the border. In her sermon, the Right Reverend Sally Foster Fulton, moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, urged action to combat global warming in order to prevent the planet from baking to a crisp. Following the historic ceremony, a 21-gun salute erupted over the Scottish capital, and 9 aircraft then left red, white, and blue trails as the royals looked on from the Palace of Holyrood House. Activists heckled and screamed, "Not my king," throughout the processions from a site just yards from the Royal Mile, drawing anger from royalists who thought they should have been assigned a less conspicuous location. After reportedly attempting to scale a crowd safety barrier during the event, 2 women, 20 and 21, were detained and charged with a breach of peace. The Princess of Wales, dressed in a Catherine Walker coat, a Philip Treacy hat, and jewellery from the late Queen's collection for the service, while her husband wore his Raf No. 1 uniform. The two were seen laughing together in a heartwarming moment as the event began. In his speech, the Right Reverend Foster Fulton urged the congregation to recognize that the heavens and earth are not human commodities or possessions, in order to put society on the right track. When we realize that we have borrowed this earth from our children rather than leaving it to them as our inheritance, she remarked, we are blessed and on the correct course. We have a responsibility to return it still singing, still soaring, still bathing, not baked to a crisp. Before ascending to the throne, Charles made numerous speeches emphasizing the value of the environment, combating climate change, and safeguarding animals. He recycles his bathwater at Clarence House and uses sustainable fuel in his Aston Martin sports car. A procession of about 100 people, representing all facets of Scottish society, from the arts and politics to education, civil society and industry, including charities that the King supports as patron, moved from Edinburgh Castle to the cathedral today. Corporal Cruachan IV, the Royal Regiment of Scotland's regimental mascot, rode a Shetland pony at its head. The streets were crowded with protesters and royal admirers, with Republican groups yelling, "Not my king," and others yelling, "God save the king." As the moderator declared that concepts like mercy and peace should not be domesticated or downgraded, but rather be the fabric of our being, participants from the People's Procession sat in the cathedral's pews. She said that if individuals are brave enough to choose collaboration and trust over fear-filled circling of our wagons, society is on the right track. Brothers and sisters, take a look around you. We are a one, interconnected, and entirely dependent global neighborhood, stitched together like a tartan, she declared. Olympic rower Dame Catherine Granger carried the sword of state at the ritual, and Scotland's First Minister, Humza Yousaf, read from the Old Testament of the Bible. Edward and Sophie attend a service at Westminster Abbey to commemorate the NHS's 75th anniversary. Your Majesties, you have made it part of your mission to speak alongside creation, advocating for it, the Art Rev Foster Fulton said in closing to the King and Queen. We pledge to accompany you on that journey as we give the honours of Scotland to you. This beautiful, sacred creation and everyone and everything in it are so much bigger than us, and we are all only a tiny part of that. God is to be praised. Major General Alastair Bruce, the governor of Edinburgh Castle, watched as the parade of civilians left the esplanade of the stronghold and was joined by the 51 Brigade Cadet Military Band, the pipes and drums of Robert Gordon's combined cadet force, and 4 mounted components of the Scots Dragoon Guards. The Royal Regiment of Scotland's Shetland Pony regimental mascot, Corporal Cruachan IV, led the men and ladies in the march as spectators lined crash barriers around the Royal Mile to watch. Soon after, the King's bodyguard in Scotland, the Royal Company of Archers, along with members of the Royal Navy, Army, and Royal Air Force, would accompany at Honours of Scotland, the crown, sword of state, and sceptre. Those gathered along the Royal Mile to greet Charles and Camilla included 3 sisters, Julie Avery, 51, from Birmingham, Karen Shortis, 54, and Linda Halfpenny, 67, from New Zealand. Mrs. Halfpenny, who spent 42 years of her life in New Zealand, is visiting Britain to see her 2 sisters. She called her sisters and asked if they could go to the event with her as Charles and Camilla's visit to Scotland fell with her time at home. Linda is here visiting, so when she sent me a message asking if I could take Wednesday off and come up, I said, yes, sure. Mrs. Avery continued. I said, okay. I arrived yesterday night, and tomorrow morning I'll leave for work in the afternoon. We'll spend the day together as well, Mrs. Shortis remarked. The sisters wanted to be in a good position to be able to witness the royal procession, according to Mrs. Halfpenny, who claimed to have come a long way. 4 Italian women carrying teacups and dunning fascinators joined the gathering as well. They arrived today at 8:30 a.m., but they arrived yesterday at midnight to assess their place in the crowd while they were on a business trip in Scotland. We like the royal family, Bologna resident Ciara said. We want to share with our community to show what happened. The Bologna native Paula continued, we want to show our support for the new king. Margaret Jenkins, 62, of East Lothian, who was also among the crowd, declared, I'm excited to see King Charles, my king, and I know not everyone would agree. It's a good day out, said Anne Connolly, 65, of South Shields. The king and Camilla's arrival is something we're anticipating. She made reference to a section of the cathedral grounds that had been cordoned off for demonstrators, saying, they've given the protesters the best spot here, the best view. It's not right. Not My King signs were carried by demonstrators who assembled in front of the High Court building. The royal family, according to one demonstrator, is a symbol of the state the country is in. They are a prime example of those who have too much when others have too little, she claimed. I have nothing against the king personally, but it is a democratic disgrace that he holds this position in a developed nation without being elected. She claimed that onlookers had given demonstrators an absolutely fabulous response. The majority of the visitors, she continued, find it very strange that we still have this peculiar constitutional quirk. A boisterous welcome from royal family supporters waving Union flags and screaming, Charles King of Scots, was captured on camera for the Republicans. So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.